Hello and welcome to Sports Opinion, the weekly sports talk show on Channel 18. My name is Dirk Keller. This is Bob Boyd.
Hi, Dirk Keller.
Hello, Bob Boyd.
How are you?
I'm pretty doggone peachy.
Good.
Yeah. Over here's Bud Supple. And before I forget, and before I finish, I want to thank Bud and Supple's Flowers for bringing us the lovely centerpiece every show for
Ever.
23 plus years. It really is just a nice touch. It beats seeing just the microphones up there. And Bud and his son Ted are really dutiful about getting us these flowers every week. So thanks, Bud. Appreciate
You
it.
get them last week.
We did.
Oh, did you? Okay.
We did. And I can't forget,
Sometime.
ladies and gentlemen, this is Earl Murphy
Earl
here.
the Pearl.
Earl the Pearl here on his 88th year
Yep.
on God's green earth. Back for another week of Sports Opinion.
Yeah.
And we're pretty happy to be here.
Yes.
We had a great football game to watch last Saturday at Kinnick Stadium. And I got to fly.
Hey, we weren't on the edge of the seats for the first time in a couple of weeks. That felt pretty good.
It
No,
sure
but the
did.
thing was good. Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people were there. Well, we were lucky that Pittsburgh game, when we come back, right where he left off and just started right back up.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good to see.
Yeah,
Well, how about the very first play of the game?
yeah.
Yeah.
No huddle offense.
Oh, that's what I mean.
And the
I
crowd
about
picked
fell
up
out of
on
my
that.
chair.
Oh, the crowd instantly picked up on it.
Yeah.
And they cheered before there was even a
Yeah.
play. I thought that was great.
Because I think we all thought they'd come out and establish a running game, get Coker's back up some experience, and, well, they fooled us, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did.
That's great,
And I
yeah.
think they probably fooled Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, that's right.
I know they wore them out. I don't know if you guys noticed, but they're in the second half.
Yeah.
Louisiana was having a tough time.
Well, you know that. I don't care what they say. That's a pretty good football team.
Yes, it is.
It was.
Very good team.
And
it
they
really
played some
was.
tough teams.
That's right.
And they played them
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, they're
So-
picked as potential co-favorite for, what is it, Sun Belt?
Sun Belt Conference.
Yeah.
So let's see how well they do from here on in. They
I
could
heard
they
that
could
they
run
were-
the table.
They were figured to win it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they were. They're picked
Yeah.
to win. Yeah.
They've got a world-class sprinter as a running back.
Mhm.
And that quarterback wasn't too shabby.
No, it wasn't.
And their defense was difficult.
Yeah. And they had more crazy plays than we did.
Oh, they did. They did. And, you know, we had a hard time, I think, figuring or solving their offense because they were able to move the ball on Iowa quite a bit until midway through the second half, and I think they got tired out.
Well, yeah, those the first two possessions they had in the third quarter, they came down and scored 7 points each time.
That's right.
I mean, they did a good job in the third
Sure.
quarter.
They
I
scored
noticed all
scored 4 points a quarter. That's what I figured.
Final score was 45-17.
Yeah,
that's
that's
right. 4.25 points per quarter.
I noticed all the Big Ten teams, the teams they played were scoring points. Did you notice that?
Yeah, good point.
Michigan had 18 against
Wisconsin
them.
womped up on whoever they played.
But they had 14, 17 points scored against them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
and
did.
then the shocker of the day, as far as I'm concerned, and I was glad for his sake, was
Oh,
Dan McCartney
yeah,
getting his
North
first
Texas.
win over Indiana.
Yeah.
Well, Indiana
Yeah.
came to them. It was at North Texas
Yeah,
State.
do you ever wonder
But
why
they beat 'em
they
good.
ever scheduled a game over there?
Good question.
It's a brand new stadium,
Yeah.
but it still only holds 28,000 or 29,000.
That is a good question, why they scheduled it there instead of in Indiana.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe Indiana needs the money.
Well, here they are. What are they, 1-3?
Never know.
They're
But
not good.
I still have a
Yeah.
funny feeling that Hayden Fry had a good input on McCartney going over there. I really
Wouldn't
do.
surprise me.
And I think McCartney will get him going.
I think
Well, he-
Hayden is fond of Dan McCartney.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, you give Dan, and we all know Dan McCartney's a very good recruiter and a good coach. And he's, there's a lot of good football players in Texas and Louisiana, and he's right there.
Yeah.
But, for example, Iowa State has 20 kids on their roster from Texas that those schools in Texas didn't want.
You
Yeah.
want right?
So there's a lot of good football players down there. I can't believe that Dan McCartney won't have them turn around about 2 years.
And those 20 kids on the roster of ISU that are from Texas get a big game Saturday night
Yeah.
in Ames when the Longhorns come to town.
Yeah.
They've got
Right.
revenge on their mind, and I think Coach Rhodes and the Cyclones.
You mentioned it, but you just mentioned about 3 or 4 teams that go into Texas. The whole United States goes into
Yep.
Texas.
Oklahoma,
Yeah.
Okie State,
That's right.
Yes.
they get after
Yeah.
it down there.
Yeah.
And of course,
Well-
the Hawkeyes have a few.
Well,
Sure we
Texas,
do.
Texas plays year-round now.
That's right.
Yeah.
They really do.
I think Florida plays year round, don't they?
Yes, pretty much so.
Yeah.
But one thing about Florida, they're really strong in baseball too. So
Oh,
there is
yeah.
a little break there.
Yeah. Well, now when you say they play year round down there, what do you mean? Do the high schools have some kind of sanction?
No. But Little League has theirs, and they start them young there. But you can, I'd say 10 months out of the year they're there. They have these, like we have that All-Star game. They have several of those All-Star games.
You talking
Throughout the
football or
state.
baseball?
Football.
Football.
Okay.
Like the Shrine game here in Iowa.
Yeah.
They got about 10, 12 of those.
Why, that's not well received, is it? I mean, they don't
No.
have a lot of people who go to that. I wonder why.
The Shrine Bowl?
Yeah.
Part of it, I think, is because of when it's played in the middle of summer. It
I
is
think
the middle of
both-
summer.
Number one reason I think that the players are afraid of getting hurt.
Yeah, I would think so.
Real,
Yeah.
that's a real.
Well, and another thing that hurt them, and I know that just from Regina, because a couple kids didn't go this year because of baseball.
Right.
Yeah,
It's right at tournament time at
Right.
baseball
I'll
time.
be darned, that's right.
that's
So
true.
You,
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't have all the schools in the state, but you'd have a lot of them still playing baseball.
And I'm guessing a lot of the colleges where these kids are about to go to play football don't want those kids playing in the game for fear of injury.
See, how's the boy doing?
That's
with,
right.
On our show that went to
Good.
Princeton.
Good.
They redshirt him?
Well, you redshirt them, but they still have freshman ball.
Talking
Oh.
about Jack
And he-
Verducci,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jack.
former Regina
And he
quarterback.
is playing. He is playing.
He
But they
is?
ju- yes.
Really?
They just started
Freshman ball?
2 weeks ago. I talked to his mother after church one day.
Yeah.
And they just, matter of fact, school didn't start till about the middle of September over there.
Which is the way it should be, but that's a whole
Yeah.
nother story. Do they start a little later football in the Ivy League?
Evidently they must.
I think they do.
Yeah.
And
Because I guess I haven't
is
seen
he? He's a
Ivy League
Colgate,
schools.
right? Or
No,
Cornell?
he's at he's at
Princeton.
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 Princeton, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
Sharp
what about
kid.
the Anthony Hall? She went to the Colorado School of Mines out in
Yeah, he left early. to
Colorado. Well, we'll find out, I guess, as the
Yeah.
season progresses.
practice. Well, I talked to his grandmother
Yes.
last game, and he's still out and playing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd love to get an update. It'd be nice if the Press Citizen or somebody did a follow-up story on all these high school
Well, there's
kids that
also a
go
lot
off.
of City
Yeah.
High and West High kids
Yeah.
in these colleges.
Oh,
Kid
sure.
that goes to, Dan McCartney's school.
Yeah. City High quarterback.
That's right.
Yes,
He's
right.
playing from
That's-
North
I
Texas
forgot about-
State.
Yeah.
And he went there before Dan got there, right?
No.
No, Dan got him. Okay.
This is his first year for.
Dan recruited him
Yeah.
all the way.
His dad and McCartney are just like this.
Okay, who?
What's his? I'm drawing a blank on the quarterback's name.
Mac,
Bob?
Kids with an M.
Yeah, it's Mac.
McCaffrey? No. McFadden? No. No, geez, that's.
Well, if you know the name of Iowa City High's former
Ah.
quarterback, please call Bud after midnight at home.
Quarterback last year, for Pete's sake, so we can't remember.
McNulty.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
McNulty. That'll save you a few phone calls. Bud.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody will call you
His
now.
dad's one of my best friends. I
Yeah,
can't-
you know, we get here under the lights and
Yeah,
on
that's right.
the
Just
front of the camera, and it gets a little hard sometimes. We,
too much pressure.
Yeah, we get to, I thought, Bud, your wife corrected me at the Regina game Friday night.
Yeah.
And I had several
I
people
didn't see it,
mention,
but she come out. She,
What?
oh, I'd confused Butch Peterson's son's team. I think I said,
Oh, Wilton?
I said West Liberty, and it's Wilton. And,
It is Wilton.
And they've got a good team, and that's Regina's last game of the year.
well, guess what happened?
West Liberty is.
Wilton beat him last Friday.
Beat 'em good.
61
Yeah, they womped them.
29 really won.
Yeah.
That was a
And we
surprise.
already shut Wilton out.
You know, you said something that's probably more truth than that's the line. the offensive
Yeah.
line. Oh,
Yeah.
they're just so powerful.
For Iowa?
No, for Regina.
Oh, for Regina.
Well, how about that City High line? They're mowing everybody over. I
Yeah.
mean, over 400 yards offense per game.
Rushing. No, just rushing.
Just wow! I'll tell you what.
Or no, wait a minute. 300 yards rushing per game, 400 offense.
Total
Thank
offense,
you, thank you.
yeah,
You're
but
right.
they don't get much passing yards. So you
no,
know,
they don't.
yeah, I mean, well,
that's-
and they're all
Does
almost.
anybody know the story about the kid at
Rogers.
no, is in Cedar Rapids from
Xavier?
Xavier?
No.
Well, we don't know his name.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who he is. They haven't named him. He's been suspended indefinitely for making racial epithets towards the City High players during the Xavier City High game back a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The ironic thing, the referee in that game
Yeah,
was former Hawkeye
Norman Granger.
Norm Granger, and he didn't hear it. You know, he was there working the game and didn't hear it. But enough of the City High kids did that they said something to the ref, who said something to the coach.
I was talking to, I don't know who it was. Oh, I know. Garl McLaughlin.
Yeah.
And he said that this one kid that they talk about, he said, I you got to get this right because I named him name, but he said that he did about 3 or 4 things.
This Xavier kid?
No, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he said,
Maybe some spitting or eye
Yes,
gouging and grabbing of private parts and
That's
things
right.
like that.
well, he should be suspended.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, because that sends a
and
message.
he said that Xavier's noted for this.
I've heard that. You know, when I was a kid, growing up in Illinois, we played, one of our rivals was the Illinois School for the Deaf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And they had tremendous football teams, primarily because there were so many kids from the Chicago area, poor kids that came down there to school.
Yeah.
Some of them were 19, maybe 20 years old. And that was the thing we feared whenever we played them in football, was you get into a scrum situation and they're sticking their fingers in your eyes
That's
and
right.
ripping
Oh, my
your
gosh,
mouth.
wow.
And biting.
And that's what this kid was.
Yeah.
He said the whole, that's sort of their philosophy.
Well, if it is, then they need to have a serious.
hey guys, they do that in the NFL. They do that at every level, I think.
I don't know.
Well, Regina had turned in Wilton too. I don't know if they ever did. I heard
Is that right?
The
Yeah.
one kid that had 5 personal fouls that
From
night.
earlier this year?
Yeah.
Oh, he was
And then they
right
went
off the
to
bat.
Didn't they kick
They
him out
went
of the
back
Yeah,
to
he
his
got kicked
record,
out.
and he did this every game since. So I mean, I don't know if they.
Well,
you need to stop it.
well,
That's how you stop it. You get them out of the game. You
That's right.
suspend them.
And the state ain't
Unfortunately,
gonna
he
put up
got-
Sends a
with that.
message to everybody else. you
well,
know?
that Wilton kid, I saw him from the very first play of the game on kickoff. He was just doing the extracurricular after the whistle,
yeah.
and you could just tell he was a little overamped. And right up to the last play of the half, when he got into a tussle with one of the Regina kids who responded to his poor sportsmanship, it got both of them thrown out.
Right. Gee.
Well,
you know.
He took Jake's head and mirrored it in the mud. And I said, "Why don't you get up and pop it?" And he said, "Then not play the next game."
Yeah.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Jake just got up and walked away.
It's it's
But
hard
it's
not
not
to
fair
respond
for
to
that
stuff
guy.
like that.
I know.
Dirty, it's dirty pool.
Yeah, but that's unusual because most of those kids out there are good sports.
That's right.
You know, and they're playing the game the right way.
And they're coached
Yeah.
well.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
That's a
right.
good point.
Yeah,
But this is where the coach should take over and say, "You're out for 1 game, and I'm putting you out for 2 games."
yeah.
I think
He's
Marv-
out indefinitely.
Oh, is he?
The Wilton kid. Or I'm sorry.
Oh,
the
yes,
Xavier
right.
kid.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, right.
I thought it was interesting, and I can't think of the Xavier coach's name.
Schulte.
Schulte, thank you. He denied everything that had happened at first. Total denial, blanket denial. That doesn't happen. We don't do that. Well,
They do that.
they do. And
Yeah.
it's not just when City High comes to town. If you read between the lines, the Washington coach said, they have a lot of black players on their team. And he admitted that they get some of the racial taunts from time to time.
Wow,
But
that's
you'd
too
think of
bad.
all schools, Xavier, Catholic school,
Mm-hmm.
you'd teach them a little better.
Yeah.
Hold them to maybe a
Maybe-
little higher standard.
Maybe they're Irish Catholics like me and have a hot temper.
Do they
Or
have?
Murphy over there.
No,
That hot-headed Irishman.
yeah.
Do they have black
At
kids
Xavier?
on the team?
I don't know if they do it. It sure isn't many.
Well,
See, we
Schulte's,
got 4, and 1 girl.
Clark,
Yeah,
yeah, sophomore.
yeah.
well, the Schulte family are LaSalle-based.
Mm-hmm.
LaSalle and Regis that formed Xavier. And his big family, bunch of brothers that played for LaSalle, good football players. And then he was a coach at LaSalle
Oh,
when Regis and LaSalle joined, became Xavier. He's the only football coach they've had, I believe.
I didn't realize
Xavier.
that.
So he's been
I
around.
didn't either.
Well, they got a wake-up call, I think.
Well, they should. You know, he's been around long enough. That shouldn't happen,
You
should
think
it?
those kids be smarter than taking on somebody from City High?
That's right.
Of all teams.
That's right.
And maybe it was frustration because City High was pounding them pretty good. But again, the word on the street is that this isn't the first time Xavier's done that, and it's not just City High; it's other
And
teams.
Xavier's given City High plenty of trouble the last couple of
Yeah.
years. And I mean, you know, City High's got that wonderful streak going, and they got beat in the championship game last year, but Xavier took them out of the playoffs. Was it the year before?
The year before that, yep. Well, Xavier
Yeah,
comes
gave
to
a
town.
heck of a game last year, I think.
Oh yeah, it was real close.
So
I think Dowling took him out in the
In
final.
the state.
Dowling took them out in the final. That's right.
Yeah. Well, Xavier comes to town Friday night to play West High. It's West High's homecoming.
West will beat them.
I think they will. West had a very impressive
Yeah,
60
61 to
something
24 or 19 or something.
over Prairie.
That's right.
Jefferson or Prairie?
Prairie.
Prairie. Okay.
Yep. And so they get to host Xavier for homecoming, and that ought to be
Yeah.
a humdinger of a game.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't think Xavier's that good.
I think
I
they're
watched
down.
him. I watched him get racked last week, and it was on TV. They played
Who did they play?
Dubuque School, Hempstead.
Hempstead. I caught a
I
piece of
think.
that. I
That
caught
might
a
have
piece
been
of that
Lowell.
game on
But
Connections.
I know they got beat again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They're 3-2 now.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
City High smoked Kennedy last Friday, or last Thursday actually.
6-0 at halftime.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a better game.
They came out in the second half and
Oh,
just
blitzed them.
I think scored the
Oh,
first
yeah.
4 possessions.
There must be some coaching.
You know it is.
You think Dan got fired up at halftime a little bit?
Well, I think that's part of it. I think too
Yeah.
that his team and his coaches really know how to get this offensive line coached up in position.
Yeah.
And I think that offensive line for City High just wore down Kennedy. They just had no answer in the second half. And I also think the City High teams are in great shape.
Yeah.
They're just not that Kennedy's isn't in good shape, but I think Xavier what am I saying? City High just wears people down.
Well, plus they've got great coaching. They've had the same coaches in place forever
Yeah.
over there, and you know they've got the system that works. I mean, look at their streak. My goodness.
It's just,
Yeah.
again, my brother was in town this weekend, and I tried to explain to him, we've got perennial power, City High. We've got West High, who's on the upswing, big time. And you've got Regina, who in the last 5 years has just turned around this program and made it a real beacon for
Perennial
everyone
power,
around.
How long has Marv been the coach at Regina?
5 years now.
I think this is his 6th season.
Is it
Six,
really?
Okay.
Might be his 5th. You think it's his 5th?
I don't think it's 6 already.
I thought it was 5, but it could be 6. Yeah. It
Wow.
could.
Might be 5. I mean, he's.
Well, he's doing a good job.
Let's see.
Well, there's another case.
Yeah.
He's kept the same guys out there.
There you go.
And the
That's
the,
good
Consistent coaching
That's part of
staff.
the coaching.
and the puzzle, if you had to put a very good piece in there, is Canales.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Strength and conditioning
Because
coach
those
at
kids
Regina.
never had a weight room like they have now. None of that.
Well, that's also
And
been
that's
part
the
of.
first thing he did. Got that weight room,
Yeah.
and then
The
got.
kids either love it or hate it, and they love it.
Yeah, that's right.
Kevin
No, you got a very
O'Brien
good
from
point.
McDonald's donated $10,000 towards that weight room. And it's nothing, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing fancy
No.
and it's not expansive, but it's just what they needed. But like you said, Canellis is the difference maker. You can put $10,000 worth of equipment into a room and still not get the results that Alex Canellis, former Hawkeye, former
Yeah.
West High star, has gotten, not just with the high school football players, but with the high school girls and the junior high
Yeah,
boys and girls.
We're working at it now, too.
My 5th grade son, Paul, was able to work out there in Alex Canellis's strength and speed training course all summer long. And they have a prescribed program for each kid. And it runs like clockwork, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. every day. And it's just something to behold.
Well, but that's what it takes, you know, the organization and the consistency, and certainly City High and Regina have it, and I think
Well, I think
West is
has it
getting
now,
there,
too.
you know, I mean, we're pretty fortunate in this town to have the
And then you go 10 miles
3
up the
facilities that we have.
road, Solon has it. They got
Solon,
that
oh,
Miller
yeah.
kid.
Who do they have?
Miller
Oh, yeah,
He
Kevin
does-
Miller.
Oh,
Coach.
okay.
as the coach.
I thought maybe they had somebody specific at strength and
No, not,
conditioning.
well, they could, but I mean, I don't know, but he's been around. Hey, let's face it, the guy in the last four,
I think all schools have it.
yeah, I do too.
I do.
Certainly the good schools do.
Do you realize I think Solon's lost 2 games in the last 4 years? And they're both to Regina.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really
Well,
something.
I think Regina's lost 5 in that same period of time, and probably 4 of them are Solon.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 of them for sure, I bet 4.
It's really quite a
4 out
rivalry.
of 6 or something like that. So we've got great programs around this Johnson County. That's
Well,
for sure.
Regina hosted Columbus Junction on Friday night and beat them 58-6. Columbus scored with a few minutes left in the game against the third stringers.
Freshmen. Most of them
Who
are
will
freshmen.
beat Regina?
I don't think anybody is going to come
Say-
close in the
say-
regular
Say
season.
33 years down the line.
Oh, down the line? Boy, that's hard to
See,
see. I think
you
like
know what? We got Marv's kid coming up there. It's going to be fantastic.
Drew
He's
Cook,
a freshman.
freshman quarterback.
And then they got some other big guys out there. They got this one kid probably weighs 280 pounds, and he's probably only 5'10". But
Firebug.
He looks like a midget walking out there.
Well, who's Regina
But
play?
he's just tougher than that.
But who's the last game of the season?
West Liberty and West Liberty.
And they're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good, and that might be the only real challenge that Regina has the rest of the regular season.
See, another one on the line that always has good football. They'd have to run in Beckman and Dyersville.
They were rated. I don't know.
But they don't play them
Well, they will in the playoffs.
in the playoffs.
Well,
And
So
I
think
see.
in the playoffs. There's
West
2
Union,
or 3.
North Fayette is good again. Who's
I-
number 1 ranked? 2A?
West Marshall.
West Marshall, okay.
in
They're
rank,
ranked ahead of
In
Regina.
2A.
they're ranked ahead of Regina.
Yeah. Regina's number 2.
In the Des Moines Register polls, which is normal.
Yeah.
Well,
The
I
Des
don't
Moines
see.
Register's not going to give any Eastern Iowa teams.
I don't see anybody in the regular season.
See, I
beat-
think City High. There's just no question that City High is not number 1 team in the state, because who they play and the way they've played them.
Well, Cedar Falls got an argument to make.
Well, I don't know. I watched Cedar Falls play. They almost got beat last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, but during
And
the regular
Ted's had them all, and he says City High is so much better than all of them.
I'd take his word for it.
City High and Regina are
He
both
had
going to go 9-0
He had a
regular
dandy
season.
last,
I think so.
last week.
And
I
West
think
is
he was
better.
halfway scared to go, but West Waterloo against East Waterloo.
Oh. Yeah.
He said they weren't too nice.
Did West win that one?
Yeah, I think they did.
You know what they do in Chicago is they have afternoon games
That's right.
on
Yeah,
Saturday.
well, he thought
Yeah.
maybe they were going to switch this because the year before.
It might be safer.
But I told him, you must be pretty good up there if they get you back every year. So he says, I'm the only dummy that goes back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Regina goes to Comanche this Friday. What do you know about Comanche, bud?
Comanche is probably the 3rd best team.
Are they?
Yeah.
What's their record? I couldn't find it anywhere.
They
Are
were
they 2 and
ranked
2, 2 and 3,
Yeah, they
3
were
and 2?
ranked there
Oh, they were?
Yeah, at the beginning.
Oh. Are you going to go to that game?
Yeah. I'm going to drive the uniforms. Teresa-
Are you?
Yeah, right. Well, Barry's going with me.
Oh, good. Barry's a good guy. It was fun to talk to you and Barry at halftime of
Yeah.
the Regina game last weekend. If you haven't been to a Regina football game, it's really a treat. Just a great family atmosphere out there. You've got a chance this weekend to see the two public schools at home, either City High or West High. West High is going to host Xavier, which ought to be a very interesting matchup, and then City High is going to host Cedar Rapids, Washington. And
Now, is it homecoming for both West and
Both
City
home-
High?
yes,
Yeah,
both
both
schools have homecoming.
Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning that.
I thought so.
Washington's good program. I think they're a little down this year, but it's they're not going to beat City.
No.
Nobody's
going to beat City High
No, I know it.
in the regular season.
I'm going to see that game.
City High game. Well, if you're an alum of City High, get out there and join Murph Friday night.
Yeah.
If you're a West High alum like my wife, get out there and join everyone else to see that big game against Xavier. And if you're like Bud and Bob,
See, you never did get that girl athletic director out.
we got to get Deanne Kramer on here. Yeah, maybe next week would be a good one because it's a bye week. We won't have a Hawkeye game to talk about,
Well, that'd be a good idea.
and she can talk to
Yeah,
us
we
about
will.
district
We
play.
We will. The
That'd be
bye
good.
weekend's this week.
Hmm?
Why weeks this weekend?
We'll have Penn
Right,
State.
but next week we won't have a Hawkeye game to talk about like
Yeah.
we're about to discuss now.
But I think we should congratulate Rogers, too, for getting
Offered an Iowa State
Off
scholarship,
Iowa State.
yeah. That's right.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
Charles Rogers from West
Yeah,
High
yeah.
accepted a full ride scholarship to Iowa State. That's right. Iowa never offered him. I'm curious why. He's the quarterback for West High, but he's targeted to play defense, defensive backfield more specifically, in college. And
Didn't
Iowa
he have
State was all
offers
over
from
him.
Northern Iowa and Minnesota as well?
Yes, he did.
Northern Illinois.
Northern
not Iowa.
Illinois, okay.
Northern Illinois.
The only thing I can say is that we're really stacked up pretty deep on quarterbacks.
This kid's awful athletic.
I know, but I mean,
I'm not
I don't
saying
know
Iowa
where
was
they
wrong. I'm
draw
just,
the line there.
I think he'd be classified as play offense or defense.
Yep.
They're going to use him for defense.
they
Yeah.
want him for defense.
Defensive back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's a speedster and
He'd
a tough
be
kid.
Probably a good one.
He's taken a pounding for 4 years. He has started, Charles Rogers has started at quarterback for West High since his freshman year.
Wow.
And that's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And like the West High quarterback told us at lunch a couple weeks ago, they don't even have any freshmen, sophomores on the varsity roster this year, which is a first.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Sauser is the West High head coach.
And that's a real plus.
Yeah.
It sure is. That's a luxury.
Well, he has, the thing that shocked me is they have 145 kids
Yeah.
out for football at West in 4 grades. That's a big number.
That's a lot of kids.
Who
So
pays
he's-
for that?
Well, don't the kids have to pay a student athletic fee?
Well, the Booster Club would certainly be a major portion of that
I agree.
funding.
Yeah.
For any school, any high school
Yeah.
program today, I mean,
I don't
these
know
schools
if
don't give the
kids
money
have
for
to
these
pay
programs
anything.
they used to. So a lot of that comes from.
Well, they got to pay something.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Kids
They-
pay something.
Do they?
maybe for the towels.
But you know what? If they can't pay, they
Yeah.
can still play.
That's right.
The money comes from somewhere. A booster club or a generous booster will donate something to help them out.
And it's okay to do that. It's
Yes.
not breaking any rules.
Totally legal.
That's right.
We'll ask her when she goes.
You know, yeah, it's a good question for her. I'm going to give her a call when we
Okay.
get off the show. Again, my son Paul plays 5th and 6th grade football for Regina, which has 2 5th and 6th grade teams, 2 3rd and 4th grade teams, etc. 7th and 8th grade have 2 teams. The west side of Iowa City has, I believe it's 7 or 8 teams at each age group level.
Wow.
Same as the east side. They've got a boatload of
Right.
teams.
Goodness.
And I'm proud to say that my son's Regina team is undefeated and has beaten 3 West High teams, or West Side teams, since they started play. And they beat Mount Vernon and they beat, I want to say, Comanche.
Wow.
In
What
a
position does
scrimmage.
Paul play?
Paul plays center
Center.
and safety.
Center and
There's
safety.
well, he's one of the kids, I think, who can snap the ball somewhat accurately.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think he likes to play as far away from the
Contact.
the contact. on
And I think
defense.
every Sunday there's 3 games out there. and 4.
Yeah, there are three.
There's 10 referees.
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah, Ted's there every Saturday or Sunday. We have a 1:00 game, a 2:30 game, and then I think
And
it's a
then I think
3:45
there's
game.
4 or maybe 5 over at City High.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, I went by City High last Sunday, and they started earlier than,
Really?
and then
They use a continuous clock.
No,
No,
no.
no.
They have
Now,
4 7-minute
one of the
quarters.
rules, now
Seven
this has nothing to do with the schools,
Technically.
but right. Because these kids do pay.
You bet we do.
They pay
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
However, to have a team like City High has 4, you have to let them play on your varsity field. You can't take a field over at Southeast or anything. It has to be played in a high school stadium.
Yep. And they
And
got the
that's throughout
scoreboard,
the
the score
state.
clock, and everything
Yeah, they got
rolling.
everything there.
Yep. And referees,
And
they sell
rules, yeah, they got
concessions.
a regular.
But the only difference in the game is these kids. Couple things. There's no kickoffs. They punt, but you can't rush the punter. You have to stand at the line. You can stand there with your hands up. In fact, I think they can only kneel with their hands up. That's as close as you can come to blocking a punt or an extra kick. They do have extra kick
Yeah.
or extra point kicks after
Okay.
touchdowns. But now the other rule with punting is you send your guys back to receive the punt, and if the punt goes less than 25 yards, you can field it, and that's where you will start play. But if the punt gets away from the receiver and goes more than 25 yards, they bring it back to that 25-yard point. They can
Okay.
start no further than 25 yards from the line of scrimmage where the ball was punted. I think these
Yeah.
are good rules.
Now, you know who started that? Nay.
Nay.
Remember I introduced you to Nay at our tailgater?
Oh, yeah.
He started that down in Muscatine.
You're kidding. How
Him
many
and a
years
group
ago?
of guy. Probably 10 years ago.
Is that right?
I think Regina's been in there before Marv Cook, I know, so. at
It's a
least
wonderful
7.
program.
Oh, I know it.
Well, all these are just feeder programs to the high school. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's like Little League,
Yeah.
but they get to call themselves West High, City High, Mount Vernon, or whatever they
Yeah,
want to.
yeah.
Solon, I know's got a couple teams.
Do they? Oh, yeah. Yeah,
sure.
they do. I know they do. Well, these kids really enjoy it. And
Less likely to get hurt with some of those rules you were talking
That's right.
about, which is important at that age for sure.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about the Hawkeyes.
we need
Yeah.
to talk about the Hawkeyes. I got to see what time we got here. 5 till. So we got about a half hour, right, Joe?
Okay.
Well, back to the Hawkeyes. Again, they won over Louisiana Monroe 45-17 last Saturday. It was just a great day. A couple of points to note. We mentioned the hurry-up offense. They didn't do it on every play or every series, but they mixed it up. They started with it,
Yep.
which really pleased the crowd, and I have to believe it really pleased the players. They've fed off that, and we've got the receivers now.
Boy, do we.
In fact, 3
We
of
have
them.
the quarterback to pull it off.
And
That's
the
right.
quarterback. Now, here's a
Yeah.
couple of little stats here on the quarterback. Let's see here. Jamie Vandenberg is on a record pace for production. He ranks second in the Big Ten in passing yardage and third in passing efficiency in the Big Ten. Not bad. Not bad. Marvin McNutt, now I don't know if you guys realize this, he is 1 touchdown catch away from equaling the Iowa career
Yep.
record
Yep.
for receiving touchdowns. Tim Dwight's one of the record holders. I'm not sure if it's DJK, the other one. I know Tim Dwight's one of them. 21 is the current record. Marvin McNutt has 20 touchdown receptions. Not bad for a kid who came here as a quarterback.
Well, with 8 or 9 games of the bowl game to go.
Oh, he's going to just shatter this record. He had
Yeah.
2 more touchdowns against Louisiana Monroe, and they were things of beauty. Over the shoulder, and it took a perfect pass from a quarterback who knows how to hit his target. They were just beautiful. So,
He probably could have had a couple more, but that's where I feel that we have one good coach. He doesn't pour it on like he started bringing in other players.
A.J. Derby
Yeah.
got to play.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought he played a good game myself.
Yeah, he looked good.
Well, and how about his brother Zach?
Yep.
Boy, he's come to play the last few weeks.
He's a starting tight end.
Yeah, that's who I meant, Zach.
Zach, yeah.
I really thought he played a real good game last week.
Yeah. He's earned it.
Yeah.
Not bad for a walk-on.
No.
No.
Well, we always play with 3 or 4 tight ends, primarily 3.
Mm-hmm.
And with the double tights that Iowa runs a lot, there's a lot of opportunity for Jerowitz and Herman and Zach Derby and who's a freshman, Hamilton? Is he
Yeah.
getting some-
He's not, but he hasn't been in, has he?
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe he played
But who was
somewhere.
the kid, the walk-on then?
Herman.
Herman.
Herman is the senior.
He's a
yeah,
senior,
I know,
yeah.
but have you gone down what he's done since he started school? He was a walk-on all the time. Never late for practice. Always worked hard. And
Walk-ons
Kurt-
have to do that.
well, and
Oh,
Kurt
Zach
said-
Derby's a walk-on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another walk-on was just named the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, Tom Nardo.
Yeah, that's the
Boy.
one I'm talking about.
Fifth-year
There.
senior,
What a
walk-on.
Yes, I know.
He had 12 tackles.
Yeah.
He started at defensive tackle.
12 and 6 of those tackles were solo tackles, and 2 of them were for losses.
Were they?
Yeah.
Well, and he started his first game against Pittsburgh the week before, and he did a great job against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the shining star in the defensive line.
And we need
Right now.
some shining stars.
Yeah.
Guys to stand up,
Yeah,
step
well,
up.
The thing that was amazing to me is we left the Pitt game on a high note, and we left the Louisiana Monroe on a high note.
We did.
And I think that Penn State's in trouble.
And they've got a
agree.
few injuries on defense, Penn State does.
Well, they got a couple guys out
Do they?
for the rest of the year.
Well, that can hurt.
Well, you know what? When you get these schedules, a year or 2 ahead of time, you look at the open date. I'm sure that coaches and everybody else is saying, "Well, I wish that open date was coming 2 games into the Big Ten season, more in the middle of the season." But for this team,
It's perfect.
and it's perfect. Yes, they need they're playing some young players. They need to spruce up their timing and get their defense a little bit stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is, like Murph said, this is perfect timing for this team
Well, one of the
to
coaches
have this week off.
for the Big Ten says this is so great because even though there's only 4 games, you've had 8 weeks of practice. So really, it's the middle
It
of
really
the
is the
football
middle of the
season.
season.
That's true.
And you
Yeah.
couldn't have it any better than that.
Yep.
Now, I will throw out a statistic at you.
Yes.
Iowa has had 8 bye weeks. And their record is 3-5 in games following the bye week.
But they've always been later.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
and then
there's 2
one
things
of
I
them.
like
That
about
makes us
this.
do then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
2 things that I like about this Penn State game is we're playing them early.
Mhm.
And it'll be, I've never been to Penn State that it hasn't been snowing or cold or raining or.
Yeah.
You like the game?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you just like, okay.
No, I like it being early like
okay.
this. I think, guys, now go down our schedule. Do you realize if we can beat Penn State, which I think we can, then we have Minnesota,
You got Northwestern.
Indiana,
Northwestern.
and Northwestern.
Northwestern first.
Yeah. You got those 3 at home,
Home, okay.
and then we could be.
We don't have Minnesota at home.
You got
Yeah.
2 and
No.
2. You got
No.
2 away
We don't
and
have
2 at
that.
home.
Yeah, we do.
No,
No.
we go there twice this
Oh, we
year.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
No,
right.
that's right.
No.
But anyway, we could be very, very, very easy, 7 wins, 7-1, and then you got
In October.
Michigan,
then
Michigan
you got
State.
Michigan State, then Purdue,
Purdue,
and
then Nebraska.
But our schedule is really, if we continue coming on,
We got
like you
Indiana
said, a
for
high.
home. We got
I know.
Indiana for homecoming.
Yeah, we got Indiana at home. That'd be another one there.
Well,
I'll tell you what's going. If we're going to win, it's the quarterback.
I agree with you.
Quarterback.
I think this is one of those teams that's going to have score 35 or 40 points to win consistently.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that Norm Parker has 2 weeks to prepare this defense that needs some help
Yeah.
for Penn State.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I bet you he'll have.
But I did see improvements
I think
this second week compared.
Oh, yeah.
Every week I've seen a little improvement.
Well, I'll tell you, a big help for this team was getting Jordan Bernstein
You're right.
back.
That's right.
He didn't play the Iowa State game because he had strep throat,
And his position.
and in the safety position,
Which
where he
cost us
can
a
lay the
couple.
wood.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if you saw the highlights of the game, but there was a punt return for Iowa where he just obliterated. In fact, it was back-to-back plays. He was playing defense on third and whatever, and he just blew up one of the Louisiana Monroe defenders. And the very next play, when they punted to us, he was back and just about decapitated a guy. I mean, it's a legal clean hit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
It was.
it was an ooh and ah
The
thing.
announcer said it.
Did he?
Yeah, he said it
Well,
very clearly.
Oh,
He said, I
he-
bet that guy won't run that
You know,
way.
and that's another thing. We got all kinds of those people for Big Ten Network. That all those coaches are for us.
I know. I know.
well,
And even on ESPN, Herb Street.
Yeah, Herb Street.
He's always liked Iowa.
Yeah.
he has.
Fairness.
He
Kirby.
has that.
Yeah.
And then another thing that they brought up, and I think it was Herb Street, you take Purdue, Minnesota,
Indiana.
Indiana, they got beat by teams. One got beat, Purdue got beat by Rice.
Indiana by North
got
Texas.
beat too.
Minnesota by North Dakota State.
And then somebody else.
These are
Just-
not BCS schools.
Well, Indiana's 1-3, Minnesota's 1-3, and Purdue's 2-2. I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're very.
Well, see, he's going down the schedule. He says if they
Yeah.
got 3 wins now, they should have those 3 wins.
You know, in all, theoretically, Iowa has already become bowl eligible because of their position in, what's it called, the Legends? Are we Legends or Leaders?
We're legends.
We're in the Legends division.
Haven't got that far.
But the other schools that you mentioned behind us aren't going to do anything. And the only school in our division that's really a threat is Nebraska.
Oh, I disagree.
Oh, you got Michigan State.
Michigan's a
Michigan.
dark horse, man. I'm telling you, Michigan is good.
So we got both Michigan and Michigan State in our division?
Yeah,
Both.
both at our house. Yeah,
And Nebraska.
Well, yeah, mention them.
And
but they're
Northwestern.
both at home too.
Right, both of them are at home.
You know.
Now,
Northwestern.
the thing is, I don't know if you realize it, but this year you have to win 7 games to get the bowl.
That's fair.
No
About-
more of
it's
this
about
6 and
damn time
6.
they did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
These
No more
6
of
and
this
6
6
teams going to bowls
Uh-uh.
is not right.
Yeah, that's out.
I'm telling you, we've already clinched a bowl berth. I'm telling you,
You think so?
I do. Just
I
do the
know.
math.
Well, yeah, we should. I mean,
Do
yeah,
the
should
math.
this team
I
win
feel
7
that
games?
we
Yeah.
will, and I feel we'll get a good bowl.
And
but
we don't
still,
play really,
We don't play Wisconsin
Or Ohio State.
or Illinois.
right?
Illinois is tough this year.
Yes, they
Well,
are.
And they play Northwestern this weekend.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's going to tell you now because the
And
only
Person's
thing
supposed to be back this
is-
weekend.
Yeah.
to
We'll
me,
see.
Illinois played one good team.
Arizona State?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
didn't start off with Missouri this year,
No.
and they didn't. I mean, they should have lost last week. They
Yep.
were lucky.
Western Michigan?
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're great or anything, but let's wait and see what happens in the Big Ten. It seems like we get stronger when we get into the Big Ten. Look what we did to Ohio State last week. We shouldn't have, last year, Wisconsin, we shouldn't have lost those games.
That one player, that Wisconsin,
Yes.
Well,
And there
Heartbreaker.
was a
that's right.
fake punt for 18 yards.
Well, you're right. We shouldn't have been 7-5 regular season last year. We go to the bowl game, we win at 8-5. That
Should have been
that
10
was
and
a
2 at
10-2
worst.
ball team. I mean, you know, it's too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, and that wasn't the players' fault.
No.
No, it wasn't. Not the Wisconsin game. And Ohio State game, they should have stopped him on 4th and whatever it was.
That's
Yeah.
15.
different.
Well, the
I
difference.
was just coming in on Melrose from the dome. And
Oh.
I thought I was going to see the last.
That was the Regina.
And as I turned
game.
in there, they scored.
Yeah.
Well, the difference between a good team and a great team any year is winning the close games.
Yeah.
And we lost all those games in the last half of the fourth quarter last year. But what people tend to forget is we won games like that the year before.
That's right.
So You know, you got to win the close
I
games.
was just saying, it was the coach's mistake.
On the punt for Wisconsin, fake punt. Yeah,
Somebody
big
was
time.
sleeping, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't,
Well,
it wasn't the players.
Yeah.
Here are a few numbers about we've had a nice increase in defense these last two games. Talked about Tom Nardo, Big
Yep.
Ten Player of the Week. Tanner Miller, the redshirt freshman from Mid Prairie.
Mid-
You know, he's
Yeah.
fast.
Strong safety.
He's fast. He was a track star at Mid
Was he?
Prairie. Yep.
And he's a good size back. He's like 6'2".
He had 7 tackles from his safety
Yeah.
position.
And he's faster than
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was so fast.
Oh yeah, he's a speedster. Now here's some numbers you're not going to want to hear. Iowa ranks 10th in the league in points allowed, and 10th in the league in total defense. Those are figures that have to improve.
Those
And
are
they will.
figures I'd
And
have
they will.
posted in the locker room.
Yep. Here's some more numbers. Now,
Now
both good and
let's
bad.
go with these numbers
Sure.
up to date.
Okay.
One of the reasons those numbers are there, we've played 4 teams that do nothing but pass. And that, you know, that pass, what Big Ten team stopped any of those teams last week without picking up 17, 20 points?
But that's what most offenses do today.
I know.
With the spread
but when we
offense,
get in the
pass,
Big
pass,
Ten,
pass.
you don't find that many.
Not as much.
So we'll see what our defense
What
does then.
teams do we have we got their numbers?
Penn State, we've got their number.
All right. I think Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State, we really took it to them the last 2
And
years.
Indiana and Purdue,
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
After last year, though, I'd
I don't
be
know.
scared to go
Oh
up there.
no, that was a.
That was a
fluke, I
fluke
hope.
last year. There's no way they're going to beat us.
We
This
got
year.
a chance to be on the
8-4, I think we'll be
Okay.
for sure.
just 7. We have to win 7.
Yeah.
We'll win 7.
They're 4-1 now.
I'll check.
4-1.
3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to win.
Going
4.
into the Big Ten
And I
season,
think we
gotta
8-game
win 4.
season left.
We'll win 5 more, real easy.
I still feel we will. Yeah. Now let me give you some.
8-4 is realistic.
And I think it'll be about 9, 10.
Yeah, could be.
Well, if you know, there again,
Passing ways.
there again,
I'll
here's
tell
the
you,
difference.
Have you seen a passer like that?
No,
He
that's
lays
what-
it right
that's
into
what-
their hand.
Either win the close games, guys, or you lose them.
Yeah.
That's the
You
difference
win it?
every year.
Well,
You
we
win them,
lost-
you're 10-2.
we
You lose
lost
them, you're
one already,
7-5
too.
or 8-4.
We'll find out where Iowa State is this week, too.
Yeah, true.
I'd sure.
Because
I want to see them beat Texas.
Yeah, well, yeah, we get, but you see all 4 of those games that they won. They've won in
Yeah.
the last minute.
Razor's edge every game.
Every
Well,
game.
They must have 4-leaf clovers under their helmets. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, they could be 0-3 as easily as
But I'm like
3-0.
dirt. The more they win, the better it makes us look.
That's
If
true.
our loss is the one to them,
I was hoping Pitt would beat Notre Dame last
I
week.
was too,
Yeah.
and they come too
I always
close
think
to it.
that.
Now Pitt plays
I
tomorrow
thought
night.
they would.
They played Thursday night.
Thursday night, tomorrow night.
Who do they
and
play?
God, that's wrong.
Trying to, it's
That's
a good
just
team
wrong.
again.
Is it Rutgers? Maybe.
No.
Yeah, I don't like those
I don't like
Friday
that,
night games.
especially after a Saturday game. You got to play right away. It's not right.
Yeah, this isn't the NFL.
Yeah,
You know, keep playing the games on
But
Saturdays.
some of
for
those
Pete's
schools, that's the only way they get on. That's why some of them going to Friday night. That's the only time
Yeah.
they can get on.
And that's really wrong. Friday
I
night
know.
college ball.
sake. Competing with high school.
Exactly.
I
Our
don't-
conference won't allow it.
They better not, but they're talking about it.
Yeah,
They're
I know.
looking at
Well,
it.
you know what? They will eventually. You know why?
Money.
TV money.
Money,
Period.
money, money.
Money, money,
That's what
money.
it is.
Well, I got some numbers here for you about the kicking game, good
Okay.
and bad. The kickers have been a highlight for Iowa special teams. Eric Guthrie and Mike Meyer are among the Big Ten's best in punting and placement. On the downside, Iowa ranks last in kickoff coverage, which just irritates the heck out of Kirk Ferentz.
Well, it's been haunting us the last few years.
They've got a lot of room for improvement on kickoff coverage. But I saw on the replay of the Louisiana Monroe game some real improvement. Well, just like Bernstein on the punt. These guys were just clobbering people. I mean, punishing them. And I notice that Kirk has now got his starters out there on kickoff coverage and punt
Yeah,
coverage.
see, we're with, one that sticks out in my mind is the one that our kickoff team Iowa State ran it up on
Mm-hmm.
the 40, and then now this is the touchdown that tied it up, and we punched somebody in the back or tackled them in the back. They
Yeah,
ended
blocking
up
in the
getting
back.
the ball down on the
Yeah.
35, and that's where they scored it.
Yeah.
If we would have kept them back there with the good kicker on the 20, they'd never done it.
Yeah.
Well, now you talk about
Yeah, right.
our special teams now. Are you talking about our defense on
Yes,
special teams? Because
yes.
our offense seems like our run backs are much better.
They are.
Oh, then last year I think they are
Yeah.
too.
And I think they're going to continue to improve offensively on kick return and punt return because we've got some inexperienced but very talented running backs, or not running backs, but receivers on punt and kickoff, return teams that can make it happen. We almost broke one against
I know.
Louisiana Monroe. He just
But you
Yeah,
know,
so
to be a
close.
real good team, and that's where I feel we are, our quarterback will do it.
Yep.
I think he will do it.
he really is prolific.
We have to improve our
Yes.
defense.
Got
Yep,
to.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Got to. And these again, the Iowa coaches, unlike maybe most coaches in the Big Ten, really coach these kids up as each game progresses through the season.
Right.
It's something I think that separates them from other coaching staffs. We've
Well-
seen it year in and year out.
Another thing we've seen the last couple of years, and specifically this year, they pulled the red shirt off 10 freshmen.
Just 10?
10,
Yeah.
I think. And I think for sure they need to do that at tailback. We know that because
Jordan Canzeri,
Canzeri came on, and then was it Bullock?
Damon Bullock,
A week or two ago.
yeah,
And
two freshmen, one redshirt
Yeah.
Bullock, and then one true freshman in
Now,
Canzeri.
Oh, that's right. Bullock
Explain
was
to
a
the
red
people
shirt,
out there because I'm not real sure on it myself.
On what?
When are not you a red shirt? You can dress.
Mhm.
You can be on the sideline. Now, when is it determined you're no longer
As soon
a
as you
red?
step foot on the field for one play.
Yeah,
One play.
including the
One play.
non-conference game?
Absolutely.
See, it used to be it wasn't in the non-conference
Yeah.
game.
I thought it was
Absolutely.
one quarter in the non-conference.
One play. As
One
soon as you
play.
step on the
Okay.
field,
That's explain that.
your red
because-
shirt is gone.
Well, you know
Yeah, I
what?
didn't know that.
In
Are you-
reality, that's what it should be.
That's right.
Are you
But
positive?
I am.
No, I don't.
But
I
if you
am.
play as a true freshman, think about how many of these guys play 4 years without getting hurt.
No.
So if you pull a red shirt off,
What about 25 McMahon?
Uh,
Is that his name?
the tailback that got hurt, he played for one quarter.
that's different.
That's the
He'll
injury
apply for a
phase.
medical red shirt.
Yeah,
Okay.
injury or medical hardship, red shirt.
And he
that's
should
different.
get that.
And you have to play less than, is it a third of the season? If you play more than a third of the season.
Right.
Well, he
you
played
can't
half
get
a
a red
quarter.
shirt.
Yeah, so that's not
Or
even.
to get an injured one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, are you talking about the running back?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
What's his name?
McCall.
McCall.
I said McMahon. That's all.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not an issue. You know what may be an issue though is he's progressing rather quickly from
Did
his.
you read the paper?
Yeah.
Did you read today's paper?
What did it
They
say?
thought he'd be at practice
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
What?
Is that right?
Really?
He's going to be back.
We'll see.
Wow.
You know
we'll
when
see.
he's going to come back?
I
He's
don't
going
know.
to come back for the Michigan State, and those toughies. Because the paper says Kurt thinks he needs one more week. of
No
practice.
kidding.
He's practicing.
What paper was that?
Press
Press Citizen.
I did
On
not know
about the
that.
third page back.
They talked about the big kid who's been injured.
Milton?
McMillan, thank you.
Oh, the lineman.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's pretty doggone close and may be ready to go at Penn State.
Yeah, you may go.
And then the other kid they had hoped would
That's
be
where this.
Well, was it Lowry?
Lowry.
Oh, I know. That's right. Murph just hit it on the head.
What's that?
This is what helps the bye week now.
There you go. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Mark brought that out. I mean, that's so
Yeah.
true. That,
This year it's good for us.
Yes.
Where it is.
Joe, how we doing on time? Got 5 minutes. We can't forget to mention that the Hawkeye men's basketball team picked up another recruit, another high school senior. This kid's name is Anthony Clemens. He's a point guard.
Is he ranked like 50th or 100th?
No, he is not. he had made a verbal commitment earlier to, I want to say, Eastern Michigan.
That's
Right.
right.
And all of his offers were from schools of that level,
Right.
directional
Mac schools,
schools.
But those
yeah.
schools, when it comes to the NCAA,
Yeah.
play as good as some of the big schools.
Right, and a big difference
And
in
anybody
football
that's
and
coming
basketball.
out of Michigan, I'll take him.
You betcha. And he brings, I guess, a really good set of skills for a point guard. He's a good shooter, and he's a great defender. And that's the second point guard for that class, that senior, the current high school seniors.
Yes.
So that's really good news. Before he made his verbal commitment, this group of high school seniors that have committed to Iowa are ranked 12th in the country in terms of stature and
Oh, are they? I didn't.
yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Now that's deceiving because a lot of teams only have maybe 2
Right,
kids,
no,
and
but
so when
still.
you double that, with
But we
4,
have 2 100 kids, and
right.
Still, we've been waiting
And-
for this for a long time
Yes.
to be
Yes,
up
we
in
have.
any kind of ranking.
And they still have one more scholarship they can give, and he's out there
Don't you
working
think
it
he'll?
hard.
Do you think he'll get one more?
I
don't
think
he
I
will.
think he's going to try. I really do. They need bodies. They need bodies.
Say, I got to see the new.
Oh, Carver Hawkeye
Carver.
renovation. What'd you think?
It's beautiful.
I'd love to see it.
Oh, what, did you see it?
No, I'd love to.
Oh, I saw the women's basketball coach.
Lisa Bluter.
Yeah, I walked out with her.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and
Where's on?
she just really, when she talks about it, it just sounds like music coming out. She just really,
That's
really
great.
liked it.
That's great.
did you go last Friday when they had the open house? Any,
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going
that's
to
when you
go
went.
October 14th.
I had to go
Friday night, we're going to go over there.
over and decorate it.
You are.
We had to go over and decorate
Yeah.
it, so I got.
Oh, before
gotta see
Friday.
it. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is
Well,
nice, isn't it?
Oh.
It's
I
going to
wish
help
they wouldn't have
recruiting
gave
a
me
lot.
seats.
that's
I think
for
it
sure.
already has.
I think
I
you're
wish
probably
they would
right.
have gave my
Yes.
seats up.
Yeah,
did?
you're probably right.
Yeah.
You know how we got this
Can't get them
Woodbury?
for nothing.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of
Yeah,
ways we got
for-
this Woodbury, but
How did we get Woodbury?
I heard that McCaffrey was at practically every AAU game that he played this summer, sitting in the stands,
Is that right?
physically there.
Guys, he is by far the hardest recruiting coach that Iowa has ever had. It's
I would
not even
agree.
close.
And not just him, his whole staff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
They have worked really hard to get this class that they're going to be signing in November. And boy, Hawkeye fans should be thrilled that we have a
And he's spent,
staff that works like
he
this.
spent a lot of time with the coach and the athletic director over that school. And when you stop and think of that, makes them look good too. Keeping a kid.
Who's that?
Yeah, the coach.
What coach?
Our coach, basketball.
McCaffrey?
Yeah.
He spent time with who?
The coach and the athletic director over there.
Or where?
Where Woodbury,
Sioux City
Sioux
East.
City Healing.
Okay.
Sioux City East.
Yeah.
yeah.
East, I
Healing,
mean,
yep.
not even.
Well, and then right across the border is where he picked up this point guard, this
Gazelle.
Gazelle.
Well, see,
Two
these
birds
guys
with
can
one
help.
stone up there in that area. I
You
mean,
get in with those coaches, they can help you out.
Absolutely.
Some
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
well, it's persistent recruiting.
Yeah.
That's what you get you the ball.
But
player.
then we all feel like this guy, the day he stepped foot in Iowa,
Yeah.
he'd go out and do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
did.
you can just tell the first appearance on these guys.
Oh, he's got a great group of assistants.
Yeah.
he does.
He really does, and they work just as hard, if not harder. They make a lot of sacrifices. They're missing a lot of time with their wives and children. And, that's not easy to do.
And Lisa Bluter and her staff have done a wonderful job. Look at their recruiting
They
classes.
work so hard.
That's going to be playing this year.
Do you remember Herb Thompson?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he was there, and he came over and talked with me.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I hate to say this, but we're out of time. It's been another fast-paced show here on Sports Opinion. We're on every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on Channel 18.
And go Vandenberg.
That's right.
Yes.
If you can't watch the show
That's right.
at 7 o'clock,
That's who I'm
you can always check it out on patv.tv. You can go to my website and watch the whole show there. But we want you to know we appreciate your input. We appreciate you tuning in every Wednesday night or Sunday nights at 6 p.m. when we replay it. One final word, the Cardinals are one game out of the wild card playoff, and we look forward to that tonight. On behalf of Bob Boyd, Bud Supple, Earl Murphy, I'm Dirk Keller, thanking you for joining us. And remember, either you're a Hawk or you're not. Go Hawks, and thanks Joe Murphy for doing everything behind the scenes.
Go Cubs.